Hello, I'm Salim Al-Wasity. I am a final year PhD student in College of Science and Engineering. Currently, I am the postgraduate convener, postgraduate convener for College of Science and Engineering, and I'm running for SRC Vice President Education.
Brilliant, thank you very much. In a recent Gust live debate, you spoke that you said that you didn't agree with lecture recordings. Could you explain?
Yeah, based on my experience as academic lecturer, I worked in this field for more than 6 years before I got my scholarship. I feel that losing the face-to-face interaction between the student and the lecturer is a very, very important thing. So by losing this interaction, so we will lose the student. Students might come from different backgrounds, so they have different culture, different educational levels. So they have different questions, so by giving them a recorded lectures, that will kill all the questions that they have, or they might think, or if they have any idea, or they have any improvement for anything that belongs to this lecture. So we will kill all these intuitive things. On the top of that, by giving this space of listening to the lecture from home, from library, or wherever, and not attending the class, that will create a gap between the student and the university or the school. This gap will become bigger and bigger every day when the student feel that they can listen to the lecture, to the recorded lecture, and then they can pass the exam. Actually, that will not happen, or that the we can say a wrong idea, because we want the student to read and read and read. So when the student graduates to become an engineer or a chemist or whatever, so he will not listen, or he will not record the videos to tell the people that, okay, look to what I'm doing, or look to this design, or look to this thing. So he must read and he must write what he is thinking, or he must draw for example, the design if he's an engineer. So by recording a lecture, we will make his reading less and less, and his writing or his activities toward the written things become less and less. I agree, partially agree for recording lecture for a specific circumstances. For example, if the student is ill, or he has something special that can attend the lecture, okay, that's good to listen to the lecture. But not every student can get an access to recorded lectures.
Okay, but do you not believe that view might alienate you from not only undergrads who are really passionate about video recording lectures, but also the rest of the council and even some of the executive members who have run on campaigns of video lectures? Do you believe this could alienate you from other people in the council?
No, I don't think so. No.
Okay. You talk a lot in your manifesto about what you would do to support postgraduates, but very little about what you can do to support undergraduates. Why should undergraduates trust you to represent their interests when you maintain that your manifesto is mainly centered around postgraduates?
Yeah, that's a good point to emphasize. So basically, I'm a postgraduate, so I passed through the undergraduate, and I know a lot of issues regarding the undergraduate. So basically, and based on the previous vice president educations, nobody had hold this position as a postgraduate. Or we can say in another word that the sabbatical positions has less representative across all the postgraduate students. So basically, if one of the postgraduates ran for one of the sabbatical positions, let's say the president or the vice president education, we can trust he will do his best to do the right things for the postgraduate and for the undergraduate, because he already passed through this period of his life. This is the first thing. The second thing, focusing on the postgraduate mainly, because the postgraduate is the final degree that the university gives. The postgraduate or the researchers come from the postgraduate, who are discovering a lot of things, who can lead, who can do a lot of things. For example, who is working in the industry, who is working, I know that undergraduate is working, but who is working in the research departments of the industries, who is working in the medicine that they create for example, a new method, a new pills, a lot of things. So who is doing that? Undergraduate? No, the one who is doing that is the postgraduate. So we need to focus on the postgraduate, okay? But I'm focusing on postgraduate, but I didn't forget that the undergraduate play a big role for the process of the university to which direction is going.
Okay, but with this emphasis on postgraduates historically do not engage with the SRC. Your manifesto nearly exclusively deals with postgrad issues, but do you not feel that maybe postgraduates aren't interested enough and don't collaborate with the SRC enough for these issues to be relevant?
It's not they don't collaborate. They don't know what's SRC. They have no idea about what's SRC. For example, I'm a PhD student. I knew that SRC, when one of my friends has a problem with his landlord, okay, and he came here to the SRC to talk to one of the support there. So when he told me about the SRC, I said, what's SRC? What's SRC can do? Okay, and then I start to read about SRC through the website of the. So most of the postgraduates have no idea about what is SRC, okay, and what does SRC can do. So that's why I run for the SRC, because I'm postgraduate. That will give me more load because I'm in final year. I should start writing up maybe a couple of months, but that will give me more load because I want to represent a postgraduate in one of the sabbatical positions. I believe that if one of the postgraduate run for a sabbatical position, he will give his best. He will give his best ideas, best vision, a lot of things that based on his experience, because the postgraduate has longer experience than the undergraduate. So I expect that he can give the best.
Okay, you also talk about tightening the class rep system in your manifesto. This promise has been made by candidates for VP of Education before. Yeah. Why do you believe that this should be you?
Okay, I mentioned a new idea to tighten the relationship between the class representatives or the students and the SRC, in which we can hold, for example, a drop-in session. Okay, so by listening to each student individually, we can know what's going inside the class, what's going inside the school. We can know every tiny things that running around the corner. By depending on the class representative, I agree they are a wonderful team if we depend on them, but the class representative don't represent all the students individually, okay? So they represent the majority. What about the minority? So my question is, who is representing the minority of the student, okay? So if we try to think about, to create, for example, drop-in session, to listen to each individual students. That's what we are doing, for example, as a postgraduate convener. Every month we have we book the request club. So we run a drop-in session and we listen to each individual postgraduate student that might have any problem or something like or anything in his study or in his life or whatever. Okay, so we listen to each individual student. But for the undergraduate, class representative doesn't listen to the minority. We can say, for example, if you are a student and you have only your own problem, do you think that the class representative will bother himself to raise this or to escalate this problem if it is a very minor, or he might not agree with this with your problem, let's say. So I'm thinking to listen to the minority because I'm focusing on the minority of the student.
Okay, but who will run these drop-in sessions? The class reps?
No, SRC.
Yeah. The SRC.
For example, I will. For example, if I want this position, I will create or I will dedicate some office hours to listen to each student alone. Yeah.
So drop-in sessions aren't exactly a new concept, and they've been pushed by previous candidates. How are you going to advertise and make sure that these students A, know about the drop-in sessions, and B, go to them? Yeah,
based on my experience in this university for 3 years, I don't remember that one of the postgraduate sabbaticals position did that. So I think if I want, I would do that because I want to listen to each student individually. I don't want, for example, this student talk to the class reps talk to the school reps, and school reps give this maybe this problem in the meeting of the SRC, so that which held every 3 weeks. Okay, so there is a long chain. Okay, when the student talk about his problem until reach the SRC. Okay, so I want to cut this chain and have a direct contact with the student.
Okay, and finally, how do you think assessment and feedback can be improved across the university and for undergraduates in particular?
Yes, we can do that. Yeah, I mentioned my manifesto about the evaluation for the postgraduate students. Actually, our supervisors, who are the same giving the supervision, are teaching for the undergraduate. Okay, if we know that this supervisor is bad, this supervisor doesn't give his best. Okay, for the supervision, do you think that he is the best or he is the wonderful teacher for the undergraduate? I don't think so. Okay, so if we can evaluate each supervisor, each tutor in the university, we can know that those tutors or those supervisors are wonderful and they can stay in the university and they can go with the university, and those supervisors or the other supervisors are very bad, so the university or the college or the school need to get rid of them. Okay, so by creating a certain criteria that can evaluate precisely each supervisor or each tutor, we can get a better quality of supervision and teaching.
But is that not a ginormous task to be able to evaluate every single supervisor? And are you saying you're going to fire the supervisors that are bad?
Actually, not to fire. Fire is maybe the last option. We can, for example, we can deal with each supervisor or each tutor problems individually. For example, why this tutor is bad? Is bad regarding what? Regarding his scientific aspect, or regarding his attitude towards the student, or what? Okay, he might not wear a shirt, or what? So we need to see why this tutor or the supervisor is bad, in which aspect. So we can give him the advice that he needs. We can do a lot of things. We can maybe he needs some training in some part of the scientific background. So maybe get rid of them or fire them is the last option. But think in that. Bad supervisors in the university, okay, are wasting of time, wasting of money, and wasting a lot of things of the university resources. Okay, so for example, if you have a bad supervisor and that who doesn't care about his student, do you think that the student that under supervision of him will give the best, or will give something, or will do something good for the community, or for the culture, or for the university, or for the humanity? I don't think so. Okay, so we need to find certain criteria that we can evaluate the staff, okay, and see the problems of them, and then we try to advise them, okay, and then I don't want to say to hire, so I'm not in that position to say that, but that's the responsibility of the college or school or the university to do this issue. But I think the university has people who can deal with this, but we need to put more transparency on this issue.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much.